issue with the SD card. All right, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
All right, so never mind the video. I told you we're going to start making a video record of some of our sales meetings on Friday. So this is just kind of a continuation of some of the stuff we've already been talking about. We had the video that we watched a couple of times, the mindset of high achievers, if you guys remember that video with Denzel Washington and David Goggins and all those guys. And so I think that there's been enough study to establish that high achieving people, there are some character traits that they all have in common with each other, and that is they work really hard, they're disciplined, they are very intentional about their goals, they set specific goals within specific time frames, and they make sure that they're staying on track, they make healthy choices, they're not out getting addicted to drugs and going into debt and things like that, right? So I think we've established that. So I don't want to subtract from that with this sales meeting too much, because those are important things. Just to give you a couple of quotes, Thomas Edison was quoted as saying that genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. That's sweat, right? University of Kentucky posted on their education board that Edison made 1,000 unsuccessful attempts at inventing the light bulb. When a reporter asked how did he feel about failing 1,000 times, Edison replied, "I did not fail 1,000 times. The light bulb was an invention with 1,000 steps." And that's another common trait, is that successful people or high achievers, they don't see their failures as failures, they see them as stepping stones along the path. That's how they view it. And so when they get knocked down, they get back up. They get knocked down again, they get back up again. There's also evidence, though, and that's why I really like this study, that high achievers still end up feeling unfulfilled. You guys are familiar with Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins, some of his friends, personal friends, are some of the most successful people in the world. He's a personal friend of Steve Wynn, who built half of Las Vegas. He has been an advisor to a number of celebrities and very successful people. And what kind of caught my attention was, because I was just always go, 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 how do I achieve? And then I started seeing these videos where I see Tony Robbins saying, there's these guys that have sacrificed their whole life to meet their goals, and they've accomplished everything they set out to do. And then at the end of it, decades in, when and they've become whatever, neurosurgeons or NASA rocket scientists or multimillionaire business people, they're still unhappy. They're unhappy at the end of it. So how would that feel to have sacrificed all that time, probably sacrificed your relationships with your family, maybe sacrificed a family and not even had one, committed all your time to your goals, only to get to the end and be unhappy? That's shitty too, right? We don't want to do that, right? Right? So there's been I brought up last week, I think it was, that Harvard has done a study, and I went and found some more facts on that. Robert Waldinger, he's the director of the study. They actually did a survey to kind of preface this study of millennials. I don't know if they did the survey, but somebody did, and he quoted it on one of the videos I saw, where 80% of millennials were asked, or the millennials that were asked, 80% of them, the response to what do you equate to success in life, the response was 80% of them was being rich. Being rich was their major life goal. 50% of them was being famous. So it's obvious that in the psyche of a society, everybody thinks that being rich and famous is the path to fulfillment, right? Because you don't want to be rich and famous if you're not going to be fulfilled. Obviously, they think that it's going to do something for them. So that's what everybody believes, but the Harvard study of adult development found some different stuff. So just to give you some background on the study, it's been going for over 75 years. It's the longest recorded study, the longest, most exhaustive. They tracked the lives of 724 men. half of these men were enrolled in Harvard. They were very prominent, well-to-do families, wealthy, silver spoon in their mouth, the best of everything, right? Easy access to whatever, education or whatever they needed to make life easy. And the other half were from the south side of Boston, from the hood, right? These are like the troubled, disadvantaged, abused kids. And so they tracked all these guys. Actually, there are several of them still alive. Most of them in their 90s now, and they are still doing the study. The study's still going on. And just to give you an idea of how extensive the study is, so they interviewed these guys. They interviewed them with regard to their lives and happiness, their careers, family life, any health issues. They sent them in to do medical tests. They drew blood. They scanned their brains. They talked to their children. And so it was very exhaustive. They compiled tens of thousands of pages of data to come up with this study, or the results of the study. And so what was the end result of all this stuff? And in fact, now there are over 2,000 children that have been born to those 724 men that they've brought into the study, and they've also started including their wives, because in the beginning it was just the men. And what did they find? They found that loneliness kills. That's what they found. That was the end result of all this work, is that loneliness kills. Seriously. So when they went back and they looked at the different variables that would predict a person's health and their mental stability and emotional stability, their long life, if they were physically fit, how well their brain functioned at an older age, in 80s and 90s, it all came down to how many quality relationships they had. And it wasn't even the quantity. It was the quality of the relationships. So did they have close family relationships, or were they in community with people, where they had very close friendships? That was the end result. That was the end result. So for the folks that didn't have that, that didn't have any attachments, they noticed that there was mental breakdown. People would die earlier in life. It had nothing to do with how much chorizo and bacon they ate, right? Nothing to do with cholesterol levels. Isn't that amazing? And this is important for me, because I'm one of those guys that, I have a hard time attaching to people. I have a hard time trusting people. You guys know my story. I grew up on the streets as a kid, and the environment that I grew up in, everybody's out to get something from you, right? Everybody's out to get something. Everybody's got an ulterior motive. So I have a hard time trusting people. I have a hard time building strong relationships with people. So this is really important for me to know, because it could be detrimental to your health. So I think the end result of it is, there's no way to get somewhere, especially from nowhere. If you're born with nothing, you've got to work hard to get somewhere in life. That's just, there's no other way to it, right? But it's that, who are you working for? Who are you working for, and what are you working for? If you don't have any close family ties, or don't have a family, you don't have any community, you're not a part of a church group or a recovery group, or don't have really close friends, it's probably a good idea to start working on that stuff. Most of us here or well, not most of us, but there's a good portion of us that are at midlife already, and there was a noticeable decline starting after midlife for those guys that didn't have that in their life. So I think the end result is, nurture the people that love you and love them back, and create and nurture. Pretty crazy, huh? So it's the same thing Jesus has been telling you all these years. Now science has proved it. Interesting. All right, guys. It's Friday, post-8 day, double or triple today will change your whole week. Don't get Friday fever. Have a great day. He was down